Now to a story about America's past, a big-time radio host and race. South Carolina officials today gave posthumous pardons to two relatives of radio talk show host Tom Joyner. The men were convicted of killing a Confederate Army veteran in 1913 and sentenced to death. But 2 years ago, Joyner learned their story and set out to clear their names. NBC's Ron Mott has the story now from Columbia, South Carolina.
It's a round of applause nearly a century in the making.
Griffin brothers.
Two great uncles of prominent radio personality Tom Joyner were pardoned today by the state of South Carolina for a murder that ultimately cost them their lives.
The only way to solve racism in this country is to talk about it and to close some of the issues of the past, like the Griffin brothers.
In 1913, Meeks and Thomas Griffin, along with two other African-American men, were convicted of killing a wealthy white Confederate Army veteran. Almost immediately, doubts surfaced about their guilt. The men's attorney was given just 24 hours to prepare a defense. They were executed in 1915.
Legal electrocution. Cause of death, they electrocuted me?
Yep. Joyner first learned of his relative's story 2 years ago during taping for a PBS documentary called African American Lives by Harvard professor Henry Louis Gates.
Do you know why your grandmother moved away?
I have no idea.
The Griffins, who always maintained their innocence, were large landowners and were forced to sell their property to cover legal costs, Joyner said. His grandmother moved to Florida after the execution, taking a painful family secret with her.
As an historian, I'm just honored to see something historical rectified in the present. That's a great feeling.
To protect the Confederate soldiers' reputation, they blamed it on my uncles.
Joyner says research shows the white soldier, John Q. Lewis, was likely killed because of his alleged involvement with a black woman. The vote to pardon the Griffin brothers was unanimous, and some say noteworthy, especially considering South Carolina's checkered history on matters of black and white. Legal historian Paul Finkelman represented Joyner.
This is about a very long history of the lack of real justice for African Americans in the United States generally, but particularly in the Deep South.
Joyner called it a great day for his two late uncles.
I hope now they rest in peace.
A peace he hopes that will lead to justice for others. Ron Mott, NBC News, Columbia, South Carolina.